Okay, hey guys, we are back here with another video, and today we are going to be doing my top 10 rankings in college football as of at the end of week 9, and the first college football playoff rankings will be coming out tomorrow, and so I just wanted to get my rankings out before the committee put out theirs, so let's go get right into it. At number 10, we have Stanford. At number 9, we have Iowa. At number 8, we have Alabama. At number 7, we have Michigan State. At number 6, we have Notre Dame. At 5, we have TCU. Okay, so to start off our college football playoff, we have number 4, LSU. So I've got some stats on them. So their quarterback, Brandon Harris, he's throwing 58% right now. He's thrown 128 times and completed it 75 times. Most people know about Leonard Fournette. He's getting 25 attempts a game. He has 176 attempts and 1,352 yards through 7 games. But they have a couple other guys that are over. They have 3 other guys besides Leonard Fournette that are over 100 yards. So he's not the only guy. And then they have 2 main guys out wide in Travin Durrell and Malachi Dupree, and both are very, very close. Both are very close to being over 400 yards in receiving. And on the defensive side, they have 4 different guys that have interceptions. Jamal Adams has 3, Deion Jones has 2, and John Battle and Kevin Tolliver the second have 1 each. So that is what I have on LSU. Overall, they are a outstanding football team, well-rounded now that they have a quarterback that can actually sling the ball around a bit. And it looks like if they have a big matchup coming up this weekend against Alabama, but if they can get it done against Alabama, then they've got a pretty good shot at making the college football playoff. Okay, so at number 3 we have Baylor. I've got some stats on them as well. So Seth Russell was throwing it 660%, and he had attempted exactly 200 passes. But that was before he fractured a bone in his neck. So the backup has only thrown it 28 times, but he's completing it at 85%. So definitely not bad. But he's a true freshman, so we will definitely have to see how he responds to being the starting quarterback here soon. Rushing wise, they're actually a really balanced team. Shock Linwood almost has 100 yards rushing and only has 121 attempts through 7 games this year and is getting about 17 attempts a game. But they're also balanced. They've got 3 other guys that are right around the 400-yard mark in Terrence Williams, Johnny Jefferson, and Seth Russell, but Seth Russell is now out, so we'll have to see how they adjust. Receiving-wise, as I've talked about in previous videos, Corey Coleman is a monster and is in contention for the Heisman, but they also have Jay Lee, Katie Cannon, Chris Platt, and Ishmael Zamora that are also making some pretty big contributions on the offensive side. So, on defense, they have 5 different guys that have had interceptions this year. Xavier Howard has 4, Ryan Reed has 2, Trevon Blanche, something else, I can't read it, Tion Sells and Tion Wright, they all have interceptions this year. And overall, Baylor is a pretty solid team. Their defense is really not that good, but their offense is so good that their defense almost just has to get 1 stop a game for them to win. That's how crazy good their offense is. But we will have to see how they respond with Jarrett Stidham, the true freshman at quarterback, from here out. Okay, so at number 2 we have Ohio State, which is personally my favorite college football team in the whole country. I would have probably had them at number 1 had it not been for JT Barrett being suspended for this upcoming game, and it's not the fact that I think they're going to necessarily lose a game against Minnesota, but I'm nervous to see how the team responds, especially if Cardale Jones were to have a pretty good game. It would just restart up the whole QB controversy that had pretty much gone away since JT had taken over at the end of the Penn State game, as you saw right there, and during the Rutgers game when they probably had their best game of the season. So here's some stats on them. Cardale Jones has almost 100 more attempts than JT on the season. Cardale is completing 63% of his passes. JT is completing 66% of his passes. Ezekiel Elliott, another guy that's definitely in the Heisman contention, has 1,130 rushing yards and has 167 attempts on the game. And then JT, Braxton Miller, Cardale Jones, and Curtis Samuel are all over 100 yards rushing on the season. Receiving wise, another pretty balanced team with 5 different guys over the 100-yard mark, including Ezekiel Elliott, which most people don't know about. He's actually has one of, if not the best set of hands on the team. So not only can he run it, but he can also catch the ball. He's a do-it-all type guy. So on their defense-wise, Garyon Conley, Tyvis Powell, Eli Apple, Von Bell, Sam Hubbard, Darren Lee, and Adolphus Washington all have interceptions on the year, but none of them have more than 2. But overall, this team is like top end defense wise. Secondary rush defense is just average pretty much, but overall combined makes up for a pretty stout defense and a team that will be a hard out if they make it into the college football playoff. So at number 1 we have the Clemson Tigers. They've been playing very well this year, and with that 24-22 win over Notre Dame, have really solidified themselves as one of the top 4 teams in the country, if not the number 1 team in the country. So some offensive stats on them. Deshaun Watson, their very good quarterback, has attempted 219 passes and completed 154 for a completion percentage of 70.3. He's having a pretty good year. Most people were expecting him to be in the Heisman run. I'm not necessarily ruling him out yet because they still have they have a couple games coming up that are still pretty big, and even if he doesn't win, he still has a chance to prove himself for next year if they make the college football playoffs. So rushing wise, he's also their second leading rusher, but their leading rusher is Wayne Gallman with 874 rushing yards on 159 attempts and gets about 20 attempts a game. And then behind him, there's no one really noteworthy to talk about rushing wise. Receiving wise, they have Artavis Scott. He has 514 receiving yards and is averaging about 10 yards a catch. He's caught 47 passes. So overall, a pretty good year for him. Deon Kane, Sharon Peak, Hunter Renfro, Ray McLeod, Jordan Leggett, and Jermone Hopper are all also over 100 yards receiving. Definitely having a pretty good year. Nothing crazy good about Clemson's offense, but they're definitely not bad. They have a pretty good offense. Their defense is also very good. Not necessarily as good as last year. I mean, the last few years they've had probably the number one team defense. But this year they haven't been quite as good, but they've still been very good. So they've had 7 guys with interceptions this year, with Cordrea Tankerson. I want to think that's his name, but I can't see his full last name on here. But I'm pretty sure that's his name. Has 3 interceptions, and he returned he returned one of those for touchdowns. It looks like Jadar Johnson had 2, and then Ben Bulware, B.J. Goodson, J. Ron Kearse, Van Smith, and Carlos Watkins also all have 1 interception on the year. Overall, Clemson is a very solid football team, and right now looks to be like the number 1 team in the country. So I'd just like to thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I should be releasing a new college football video very soon, but there will be some other gaming videos going up as well. But again, thank you guys so much for watching, and if you want to check out more of my stuff, be sure to like and subscribe.